just like the New York Times and some other mainstream news outlets like to use anonymous sources when they try to downplay their UFO stories, I like to use anonymous sources too when I try to upplay them. And that's what I'm going to do right now. One of my favorite, and probably one of my only right now, I think this is my only anonymous source. This is a person who's a retired electronics engineer who did work for NASA, the CIA, lots of different defense contractors over the years. And you've heard me talk about this person before and provide some of the insights of this person. And I enjoy it. I think this person makes a lot of good points. He wants to keep his name out of it. But I've talked to this person on the phone several times, and he's a real person. And he showed me who he was, and I know who he is. He just doesn't want to have anything to do with his name being out there. But he does serve as a great anonymous source for me, and we're going to talk about some of the things that he's been telling me. And he sent me an email recently, and I thought it was really interesting. It's basically, he gets into like, what if there was a deal made behind the scenes between the government and extraterrestrials? Is that even possible? Is that something that could be? I don't even know where you would start with that. But this is with regard to the only way to understand. I mean, the only way to, wouldn't you think? I mean, if they're here on some purpose that it just isn't good for humankind, maybe the only thing the government could do is try to make a deal with them to try to, make it not so bad, or who knows. But anyway, I'm going to read some of this email I received recently. It says here, we've been kicking around the issues of the cover-up and the merits of disclosure for a while now. I think it's obvious that a seizure of the planet is ongoing, and the reason is that we're a food supply. I think MJ-12 has known it for a long time, and they're scared. Okay, so let's just stop there for a second. So now, and we've talked about this before, is that the reason, like my anonymous source believes that the reason for the cover-up is because these aliens are here to basically colonize the planet, and they're using animals like cows, and that that's what explains cattle mutilations when their blood is missing and everything, that they drink blood. These aliens are they're basically advanced insects, and maybe they're even feeding on human beings. Maybe that's part of it too. So that's his belief. Anyway, I think they've tried to reverse engineer a disc or two and have gotten nowhere. Therefore, they don't think the general scientific and engineering community can really be of any help, so there's nothing to be gained by opening this up to them. And this, of course, will stop right there. That, of course, would explain why they're covering it up, because it doesn't really help them by releasing the information. Anyway, continuing. On the other hand, disclosure would be a big problem. There's the panic, but also the idea that if people started shooting at UFOs or resisting in some way, the aliens might retaliate. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with this point. This is a point that's been made to me by this anonymous source about that people would fight back if they realized that there was beings here, that they would shoot at them. Well, I don't even know if that's possible. I mean, the way the telepathic, the control that they have over us. I mean, when they show up, I mean, basically they could conk you out. You don't even know they're there. So I don't know if I agree with that. Anyway, continuing. So from a strategic point of view, the best option is to tolerate a certain number of cattle mutilations and human abductions and probably murders, and simply keep telling the public it isn't happening. It's no solution, but it's all they can do for the moment. Meantime, there's the idea of coming up with an effective weapon, but I doubt that offers much hope. So that just leaves making a deal, assuming it's even possible. That idea really scares me because, as we know, people will sell out their own mother if their survival is at stake. So maybe the crashed discs and the bodies aren't all that important anymore. The really big secret is what kind of a deal may have been made. Can you imagine if things have gotten to that level already and the public's so far behind the curve that they're still asking if Roswell really happened? Boy, that's a lot of good food for thought here. Yeah, like we're here. I'm sitting here talking about Roswell all the time. You need to tell us about Roswell. Really, what's really going on? There was a deal made a long time ago with these things to basically, hey, just leave our government facilities alone and our families. We don't care if you go abduct the rest of the people out there, or, drink their blood or whatever. But hey, we'll scratch your back, you scratch ours, or I hope not. But I mean, if you know anything about the human animal, I mean, I've run into a lot of people over the years, people who are, there's some people out there who would, sell out their own mother. That's really true. I mean, if you live long enough, you run into some people who are just rotten. I can't imagine that that's the case in a Majestic 12 type of scenario. I don't know. I would hope not. I would hope that there was no secret deals made behind the scenes that basically throws the entire human race under the bus, save for a few military officials or and top politicians. I would hate to think that that's the case. How would you even begin to make a deal with an alien, though? I mean, with the kind of control that they have over us. I mean, even if you captured one, what would that be like? I mean, there have been stories over the years of the military bringing in aliens. Now, we don't know. We don't have any evidence of this, really. Now, there's been different videos and of interrogation, of an alien interrogation. There was one that was supposedly that happened in Russia. There was this other one that came out, I think, back in the 90s or so. But I'm not sure yet. You can't really. There's no proof to it. There's nothing to really back it up. I mean, they could be faked. I mean, I think that probably they are. But I do think that it has happened. All right, at the same time, I do believe that we have captured aliens in the past. I mean, if you were to read about Roswell, the great book case, The Ultimate Cold Case Closed, by Don Schmidt and Thomas Carey, there were different witnesses that made. I know there was at least one witness that was making a deathbed confession about seeing an alien, seeing a live alien right after the Roswell incident. Being presented, this person and other people within the Army Air Forces being presented, being shown this, and they were being asked their opinion. This being was brought out. Apparently, it was the one being that survived the Roswell crash. So you wonder, what would that be like? I mean, how could you possibly? I mean, would it be a telepathic communication? How would that work? I mean, apparently this has happened throughout the years where beings have been captured from crashed vehicles. You've heard different stories of it. And what do they do with them? Do they have any living ones? Imprisoned somewhere right now? Do they try to get information out of them like the same way they would from a spy or a terrorist? I mean, do they use torture tactics? Are they waterboarding aliens? How would you get information? How would you force an alien to give you information? How would you prevent an alien from getting inside your head? I mean, obviously these things have telepathic abilities that go way beyond anything that we're capable of doing. So you have to wonder what's going on behind the scenes with regard to living aliens. I mean, how would you make a deal? I mean, I don't know if they care about the ones that crash. I mean, it's a lot of people describe the Greys as basically biological robots. So I mean, they're not the really ones in charge. The ones in charge probably we'll say it's the mantids, right? The praying mantis type aliens. They probably don't care. Yeah, do what you want with them. So I mean, you couldn't use a captured alien as hey, we'll give you this alien back if you help us. That's not going to work. I don't think. I can't imagine. It's just a lot of different questions about it. Well, I think that they over the years, over the decades, there's been different times where they have captured these things and brought them to a certain place where they're kept until they die. And but is it possible that they could have made deals with any of these things? I just don't know how you would go about that. I just don't see if these alien beings they operate on a different kind of. It seems like it's like a hive mentality. I just don't know how you would be trying to make a deal with the Borg. I just don't know if it's possible. And what kind of deal are you going to make? I mean, they're the ones holding all the cards in their hands. I mean, how can you make a deal with an intelligence that's 100,000 years more advanced than you are? I mean, that's it's like a dog coming in here saying, look if you take me, I'll be your pet if and I won't crap on the floor. That's I just don't see it. I don't know. So I'm not sure if that's even possible. I just don't know. I don't know if there's. How could you make a deal with an alien? Like if for some reason, right? Say I'm sitting here and all of a sudden the door flies open, or all of a sudden a bunch of aliens come traipsing through the wall through using some technology. I'm not going to be able to sit there and say, hey, you know what? Hold on a second. Let's make a deal. I don't think that's going to work. I just don't know if that's going to work. But hey, what do I know? They might have tried over the years, I'm sure. I don't know how that would work, though. I just don't know how you would make a deal with an intelligence that's, that's like trying to go out into the jungle and making a deal with a monkey. I just don't see us doing that. So I don't see them doing that. That's, just not, I just don't see it. What kind of deal can you make? I mean, they basically fly rings around all our aircraft. I mean, they have complete superiority in every single way. I mean, I just don't know if it's possible to make a deal, and I don't see how that would help them at all. I do think there's reasons for covering it up, and I think those reasons could be like my anonymous source says. I do think that it's because it's so frightening that they're afraid about how the public's going to react. I mean, you have to understand too. It's not just how the human race is going to act. There's a lot on the line here. I mean, you have to look at just look at those past elections. Look at all the money the millions of dollars that's been spent on all these elections. Just recently. Hundreds of millions of dollars on both sides spent to try to win elections. And all of that money, most of it, is from big corporations that want to keep getting their tax breaks. And it's not most of that money is not from people like, just regular Joes out there. They're getting it from these big corporations, right? So these big corporations, they have something on the line here too. They're all they're concerned about is making big money, right? And that's it. That's it. So if you have disclosure all of a sudden, think about what, from that point of view, from the big corporations' point of view. If there's a stock market, they don't want a stock market crash. They don't want the whole economy to collapse, because that might happen. I mean, it might freak so many people out that who knows what the result would be once the disclosure happens. However, we need to take the hit no matter what. It always comes back to that. We need to get over that hump. Okay, but whatever it's going to do, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In the end, what does it matter? We need to get over. Everyone needs to know what the reality is, right? Most people are living in this phony reality where it's unknown whether there's an extraterrestrial presence here. It's not unknown. There is one. But the problem is you don't have the officials at the top telling you that. We need to have that happen already. It looks like we might get it. I don't know. I always say, one day I'm optimistic and the next day I'm pessimistic. I just don't know what's going to happen. I get optimistic when I think about the whistleblower protection in that new defense bill on the table that's supposed to get passed here before the end of the year. Come January, we might have whistleblowers lining up left and right to go tell the Pentagon or tell the people in Congress what's going on. So who knows? But anyway, as far as making a deal with an alien, I just don't know how you could do that. That'd be like, I'll tell you what, please don't, if an alien was to come and abduct me and somehow I wasn't able to, they weren't able to put me under their mental telepathic control somehow, I just can't see me getting, being able to make a bargain with them. Well, please don't do this and I'll do you this favor. What kind of possible favor could I do for them? I just don't know. I guess maybe the only deal that could be made, here's one deal that is possible, I guess. I guess I overlooked this one possible deal. The one deal is the aliens obviously love their secrecy. They like to be quiet too. They want to pretend that they're not here. They don't want anyone to really know what they're up to. The deal that the government could make is say, hey, we'll pretend that you're not here either, but you got to give us this. I guess that's the one little thing that could be. That's the one little thing. But outside of that, and maybe that's what's been going on. Maybe that's the deal. Hey, we'll pretend you're not here either. But hey, you got to help us out with reverse engineer this flying saucer we found in New Mexico back in '47. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but hey, you just don't know. I mean, it is crazy, but it's happening.